The Whiskey Brothers.
Welcome to the Whiskey Brothers podcast, everybody. Episode 1044. That means that we are smack in the middle of November doing this little thing we do. I'm your host, Slade Ham. To my right, Sam Damaris.
Hello.
Across the table, Jerry Wayne Longmire.
Howdy, howdy.
And our guest in the fourth seat for... finally got a guest in here for this episode. It's wonderful to have him here. First time on the show, right?
Yeah, first time.
Patrick Eady.
Yeah, first time on Whiskey Brothers, baby boy. Good to be here. Excited to be here. Cheers. Can we drink at the beginning?
We can. We've
bro.
got JP Weiser's, courtesy of our friend Chuck Noseworthy up in Canada, a bottle that came back with me that we are working our way through this month. You did do Is This Thing On?
Sure
a
did.
show that we hosted last year with local comics. I want to bring this back because it's such a good showcase. We can talk about that later. But you did incredibly well, and I remember your introduction of yourself that you bring it up. Very funny. The wrestling introduction, that's what it was. So Patrick Eady, our guest, E-A-D-Y. We'll find out how to find you on all things
Yeah, we'll figure that
social
out there at the end. It don't matter.
Later.
You know what I'm saying?
No one cares. It's good to have good energy in the room. We got whiskey, we got things, we got stories, we got stuff to get to. We are recording at the beginning of November, which means Halloween was literally just yesterday for many of us.
Oh, yeah, man.
I spent it in the airport getting home, so I did nothing but watch people who decided to bring costumes to the airport, which is the most interesting of the demographics.
What, just let me make my life more difficult?
That's not allowed, right?
This is the thing, is that, yes, apparently, you can't cover your whole face. That, I think, remains illegal. But there was a guy, that what got my attention the most, carrying a big foam Conan sword through the airport. And if you're not really paying attention to the fact that it's Halloween because you got as stoned as you could before you left Ottawa.
Or whatever.
And then, you know what I mean? So you're just in Newark. And a guy's walking around with a sword. If you see a guy in Newark with a sword, Halloween
That's
is
just
literally
Tuesday.
the last thing.
How did I get in Pattinson?
Yeah, it was so just some odd stuff. And people would
we took the kids out trick or treat for the first time since the pandemic. You know, they've had like 2 years of missing that, so we took them over to the Heights because the Heights is like
you go for the good camp, full size candy bar.
Well, it's
full
like,
candy
no,
bars,
it's like
man.
time traveling back to the 80s when you go over there, dude. It's like
People in
Stranger
costumes
Things
walk on
and
the
E.T.
street.
Yeah, everybody's having a good time. There was a dude dressed up like a mailman. Comes walking up. I go, good costume. He goes, man, fuck you. And he put the mail in. I'm making double time, motherfucker. Don't bother me. I was like, God, all right, bro. I hear that shit all night, you corny ass white boys.
I mean,
Thanks for demasculating me in front of my children, bro. Appreciate that.
A buddy of mine took
you
his
think
son.
I got the truck at Party City, Jerry Wayne?
It was shit.
Buddy of mine took his son trick or treating, and he said one of his neighbors went and rented a soft serve machine.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
so
out
the
all
kids
night?
were coming out, and as soon as they knocked on the door, he walked in the driveway and made them all fucking ice cream cones. He was giving kids fucking ice cream. I'm like, that's how it's fucking done.
Well, somebody gave one of my kids a handful of watermelon gummies, not in a package. And I got excited thinking they finally got drugs when we were checking the bags.
I ate every goddamn gummy in there.
I was like, I ate every one of them son of bitches. Didn't nothing but a sugar high.
Just to check.
It's a homemade
So-
candy, brother.
There's a podcast. It's a fantasy football podcast, whatever. But they were saying they took their kids out, and one of their neighbors had candy for the kids, but they also made a
Candy
shit.
for the adults.
They also made a shit ton of Jello shots.
Yeah.
So when you came up with your kids, they were like, for you. Hey, Dad. And they were like, this is the best. I love that
we had Will
motherfuckers are
Will
getting
Loden
creative
came
with
with
it.
Wait, what?
Will Loden came with us.
Oh,
just to
Jesus.
hang out, and it was fun to have a giant.
Yeah, I was good. Did he dress up?
to travel.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Will's always kind of in costume.
A
you
little
know?
bit. Yeah, lumberjack.
Like,
But I think I watched a guy it was on a ring cam, but he walks up to the porch and there's a big bucket of can right. They left the dish out like those people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we're too lazy to open the goddamn door, but we don't want to be assholes, so help yourself. And the dude walks his daughter up, and it's a lesson, right, where the daughter wants to
Take the whole
obviously
dish.
take all the whole dish, and the dad picks it up and shows her how to hold the pillowcase properly. And then he goes, all right, now come on. And they run off the porch. And it was,
Nah, you know what that was? That was a dad who hates cardio. He's like, bitch, your bag is full. We're going home.
they're all
I
on
don't have to go to another-
joys.
We're at 8,000 steps. We're done. Come on.
Luckily, my kids are small, so like 2 streets,
Didn't take long.
and they're all right. We're
Quitters,
ready to go
man.
home.
Because they got the internet, man. They don't
That
want to
fucker
have trick or
probably
treat no
wanted all
more.
that candy so he could go home and watch the World Series, and that didn't happen.
I remember Halloween's fondly. Like,
Yeah. Well, we do a big. We carve the pumpkins and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. We had a bunch of them to carve this year, so like I did tutorials on Facebook where I carved them and gutted them with a sawzall and a paint mixer.
Making that content,
Yeah, I
baby.
recorded the whole thing. I just hand carved out the tops with a sawzall, electric sawzall, smoothed it off, a paint mixer.
Who's
Cut
that?
the crap out.
Who's that
They're
one
ready
cat?
to carve.
His name's John Hickok. He's a comic, I think, from Memphis, and he started. He shoots pumpkins with guns and shit. They don't make any shapes, but they just blow them straight to hell. It's like, yeah, like hell yeah, that's a Texas carve right there, brother.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do with them
Put a
now.
smile
you
on
know? Now they got faces on them. It's gonna be more fun.
that's pretty brilliant. You oughta. I would totally subscribe to a Jerry Wayne Longmire pumpkin carving channel.
It's like, here we go, man. This
You go-
is how you get 6 pumpkins ready real fast.
Where Gander Mountain meets Martha Stewart.
That's
Yeah, nice intersection of
right. Can you put?
Whatever
Can
the
you
name
carve
of
the
that town in
picture?
Sling Blade is.
That's your favorite movie. If it's not ketchup, I don't know. Can you put a face in there with a router so it doesn't go all the
Yeah,
way through
you
the
can use a
pumpkin?
Dremel tool. I did some Volkswagen Bug ones, some really artsy-fartsy ones a couple years ago with a Dremel tool.
How do you not have your own pumpkin carving?
Just for shits and giggles, you know.
What
It's
happens
fun.
if you want? What happens if you want a pumpkin the remaining months of the year? Would you be able to? Where do you get pumpkins in March?
I don't know. I go to
You
Walmart.
don't. I mean, once they come out,
Yeah.
it's an event. I was dating a few white women. They get pretty excited around the middle of September, but they got pumpkins out. Like
I didn't
can't
know,
keep plants alive.
I didn't know there were so many different kinds. You know, I feel like I should because where I come from. But
Wait.
I walked into HEB and they had like 9 different boxes. They got some with warts on them, some that are white, some that are green, some that are long. I think those are just gourds and they're fucking lying. Trying to
So
Right.
It's an
But there's
upsell.
people in California carving avocados and
I
watermelons
was gonna
and
say,
shit for Halloween.
you can find them year round because we were talking about horror movies. The house, Michael Myers' house from Halloween. I used to do this thing on Facebook, like especially when I moved to LA. I would drive around and find famous houses from movies or videos or whatever, and I would post them on Facebook and make people guess where they'd seen it before. But the house from Halloween, the original one, the people who live in there, they have a real pumpkin that they just keep switching out, and year round there's a candle in it, and you drive by and they're always there. So that was my favorite horror movie franchise. So I pull up to the house, and the motherfucker was getting home with his groceries, and he just looked at the car. He's like, "Hey, let my family get in first." And I was like, "Sure." And so they walked in, they shut that door, and I click, 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 click.
So why would you not get a fake pumpkin?
Did you go to the gas station in Bastrop where they filmed the Chainsaw Massacre the last time you did that gig? It's
No,
right
I
there
did
by
not.
that
I
gig.
did not know that.
Sorry, side note.
I would have.
I would get a fake pumpkin. though,
fucking would.
totally. That sounds dumb.
There's no way I'm carving a pumpkin every. That'd be like if the person who lives in the Breaking Bad house orders a pizza every week
Look,
and
you-
just throws
you
it on the
you
roof.
Give me a
I
pumpkin,
went there.
You give me a pumpkin, a can of boiled linseed oil, and some shellac. I will make that some bitch a
Right?
year
Well,
round.
they-
You
pumpkin.
telling me somebody that no Pinterest account is epoxied a fucking pumpkin yet? They put it on everything else.
Well, they keep changing the face, and like it's just a little
I'll
game
make
that they
5
do or
of
whatever.
them.
But
Swap them.
but see, I like that. Like I like the fact that they lean into it. These people bought the fucking Amityville Horror House, and they fucking leveled it and remodeled it. And they were like, "We're tired of people coming by taking pictures of the house."
Someone
put
legit
it-
got murdered there. That was based on like real murders. I mean,
No,
not the
it
house
turned out to be a
itself.
hoax.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
hoax.
what? It was? I thought
Yeah.
somebody
When I was a
no.
kid, I thought it was real too.
So wait, hang on,
no
hang
shit.
on, hang on a
Turned out to
second.
be
I
a
want
hoax.
to. Let's get into this.
No. The murders really happened there.
That's
the,
what I mean.
The haunting that made them leave. That was.
I
a
figured
hoax.
that was bullshit. I thought somebody actually got murdered because like those Ed and the Rain Warren
Yeah.
people got.
I don't want
want
to spoil anything, but all hauntings, hoaxes.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Okay, now hang.
I'm not saying I got any proof to the contrary. I'm
Well,
just
let's.
saying
You can quite. We'll dig in. I want to say what's up to T. Our
T.
over accomplisher extraordinaire in the
With your
back.
Whataburger
Fantastic. Semina. cinema camera person.
I was waiting for you to call him Seaman. I was like, he's almost there.
Cinematographer.
At one point,
He's going to pull that pull start one more time. Seaman!
Shit, boy.
it's good to have you here. Did you dress up for Halloween this year? I did not. You did not. Nothing at all.
He was probably working on a real set.
Oh, Marfre. Oh, the Blue Door. People in costumes, many of them in the costume of single person. That's Marfrela's. So have you? So you're a maybe on the ghosts. Where are you on the
I think
ghosts?
ghosts exist.
You think ghosts exist?
Absolutely.
Have you seen any?
So I think it's like this. So it's a brain frequency thing.
Okay.
Okay. So some people can pick up on extrasensory perception, other people can't. You know what I'm saying? Same thing as like you can notice how somebody's eye fucking you from across the bar. Not everybody picks up on that. It's like, bro, did she like me? Like she was staring at you for 20 fucking minutes.
You can sense.
Same thing. Different people feel different shit. Of course, there's like that ghost bro thing. Like, dude, we're fucking going there and yell at some ghosts in some fucking warehouse. That shit. A lot of it is a TV show and all that stuff. But does it exist? Probably. My opinion. I same thing. Like even when I do crowd work or something like that, you feel like you're kind of tapping into something extra.
Yes.
So I think it's similar to that, just in a different spooky vein.
So I'm in on the actual tapping into the energy and feeling something different that is not an overt sensory experience. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But when it comes to, maybe it's because I'm not in tune with the ghosts, and I've spent my whole life being told by people that they've seen ghosts, they've had ghost experiences, and I've never had one.
Sure.
It's I'm sure there are people. I have had experiences that other people haven't. I went and there were whatever, but I've never. I've tried.
Says the guy who went Bigfoot hunting.
Yes, yeah. I actively am interested. I want any of this stuff to be real. My old comedy club.
I've just had feelings. You know what I mean?
But my old comedy club, the waitresses swore beyond the shadow of a doubt. I had multiple sightings. One was making out with her boyfriend in the car when they said a black shadowy form, just human-shaped, leaned into their window and freaked them out, and they ran. I had another waitress who came screaming out of the bathroom one night after we were closed and they were cleaning it, saying there was a little girl sitting cross-legged on the counter when she walked in. And well,
that's Beaumont. That could have entirely happened.
100%.
Somebody just left their kid at the comedy club.
She was eating French fries.
I remember the amount of drugs that went through that club. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people saw shadowy figures.
Slate, were most of the people who said they had
Your
paranormal...
lips taste like Molly. Who's that at the door?
That's a meth base, not a heroin base.
It was just Ralphie walking to his car across the parking lot.
Oh, let me guess. You saw a shadow.
Our car went dark for a minute. It's terrifying.
But that's kind of the...
Were they all mostly women who said they had those experiences? Because I think there is something to that, too. They have more empathy, and they have more, they're tapped into that shit a little more.
Also, though...
There's none here. You don't have to get laid here, bro.
Oh, no.
It's a muscle.
I got a date after this. I'm preparing.
Just keeping it tight. Keeping that E string. Ding, ding, ding. There we
play
go.
the guitar with your left hand just because there's... the I remember this one comic coming in. His name, I'm gonna see if I think it was Chris Allen. He was out of Austin. I don't even know if he does it anymore. And he came in, and I was joking with him. I was bartending at the time. It was like 5:00 in the afternoon, and he just comes in to intro. Hey, I'm here. Checking the room out. Gonna go check into the hotel. Cool, man. Good to see you. And while we were talking, and we're the only ones in the building, some box or something. The building is settling. There's a noise. And he goes, what was that? And I jokingly go, oh, there's a ghost. And he kind of locks up. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, it's fucking these waitresses keep hearing shit and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, the waitresses, for the most, outside of the other sightings, most of the stuff that got seen, people would see between if you looked out into the showroom from the bar, from the stage to what used to be this old vault in the bank at the time, and they would see this form walk across that space.
I've been hearing them talk about that.
Yeah. So I tell Chris, oh, it's just a dumb ghost. He's like, no, there's seriously something. I'm like, oh, it's just, I don't know. Probably, no. But he's like, I'm super sensitive to that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, Mr. Sensitivity, where's the ghost? And
Go hang out with a cross-legged girl in the bathroom and see what you find.
right, that's what and he does this like he's got a divining rod, like he's looking for water or so, you know what I mean? And what is this hokey shit? And then he looks over after a few minutes of telling me that his family has always been sensitive to this. His grandmother was. It skips a generation. He didn't have a sister or some shit, so I'm just listening to this tale that means nothing to me until he goes, but right in there. And he points at the space. And I was just like, this is either really coincidental or you heard this from somewhere or there's really fucking ghosts. I don't know. But
it's a familial. Like Dan Aykroyd has the same kind of deal. So Dan Aykroyd, his family used to be paranormal investigators and all that shit. And that was kind of the emphasis for like Ghostbusters.
okay.
His family is real into the paranormal. And the idea is like, so even my mom and my sister used to have a shared dream that there was a dead woman in her closet named Mary. My mom was rolling the tarot cards for a minute, and she was like getting real sick. And she would say she saw some weird shit. I was like 8, so I heard bits and pieces of it.
Right.
Because at that point, I was fucking terrified of the house as is. Big, creepy country house, a lot of fucking dark spaces. Stuff like, see figures over my dad, shit like that, people all over the room. She would fuck with tarot cards. And then something happened around I was like 10 or 12. She stopped fucking with them completely and started getting real religious. I don't really think nothing of it. I saw my sister, who's kind of like a black sheep of the family now, saw her in San Antonio. She's like, I think she saw something that really fucking freaked her the fuck out. And she took like a hard left turn.
Have you investigated this?
Just went straight to Jesus.
Because I still live at the house with my folks? No. Oh. I'm just like, I sleep there. I got a job the next day. I got shit to do. And that's why guys are just like, if I see a figure walk in my fucking room, like, I'm not going to solve your fucking murder. I got to be up at 8 a.m. I'm not
going to solve your
What
murder.
the fuck you want me to do?
I got work tomorrow, bro.
You got time. I'm on a schedule, dude.
Can you run AC ducting? No. All right,
man.
I'm going to bed.
I bombed at Darwin's. How do you think I feel?
Hey, you going to
I'm
get
a ghost.
Motherfucker, I died too.
Yeah, we've all heard boo tonight. This is
Unless you have a tag, get the fuck out of here.
Unless you have a tag.
So has anything walked into your room? Has Mary come out of the closet? Do you
fucking hope
Never.
not.
Wait, so is it a particular closet?
So yeah, it's the one. The way the house is shaped, it's like so you go to the second floor, long hallway, master bedroom, and then it's like it's the farthest corner in the house.
Tell me where the jewelry's hidden.
Right. Okay. We easy.
She did come out of the closet. Patrick tried to get her to blow him.
Hey, where you going? Start talking like Beetlejuice.
You ain't got nowhere to be. Hey, come on. Come here, Chief.
We shop at the same places. But no, shit like that. As a kid, it always freaked me out a lot more because, children and all that shit, supposedly more susceptible to it. But
right.
when you get older as a man, again, you're just like, fuck, what the fuck am I gonna do about it?
It's Well, the reason I don't worry about it too much even if I'm wrong, and the reason I wouldn't worry about dead Mary in the closet is that how many people do you know that have been killed by ghosts?
Sure, but it's one of the things too where they
I don't know
attach
if
to
they
you.
kill people. I think maybe
They push you. They
just
push it
remnants of
towards it.
something.
It's like they supposedly they attach to you like in a time where you're depressed or some other shit. It's like an inkling of mental illness, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like somebody schizophrenic. What they're saying isn't necessarily not real. It's pretty fucking real to them,
Right.
So that's like an add-on to that.
Okay.
That's kind of how I've always looked at it. It's like I may not be able to experience what you're experiencing, but if it's real to you, it's pretty fucking real.
So
to you.
that part to me is I'm very careful about that with people. I had a person in my life who I was incredibly close to who was going through some very heavy withdrawals in while they were in the hospital for a thing. And they were literally hallucinating, like hardcore. And I was the only person they would talk to. And I would 2 a.m. go up there. And you just realize that, you can sit here and go, this isn't real and push against it. Or you can do the same thing I would want someone to do when I'm on hallucinogens or anything else is fucking get under the blanket with me and acknowledge the fact that this is happening and help me find a doorway out because the experience is very real.
It's like, where do you go when you dream, kind of shit like that. So the same frequency thing there is like, I think your brain's just like a radio receiver. So whenever you dream, you're just kind of tuning into other frequencies, whether they're like multiple realities or shit like that. So I think the same thing, even with ghosts, it's dimensional bleed. Mm-hmm. So it's like, whether it's like, there's the idea of an intelligent haunting or it's just something that you see like a repeat a repeat.
Like
So
a glitch.
Yeah, so that's like talk about like how comedy clubs, like it's all this energy there, all this fucking like say the Comedy Store's haunted, all this stuff like
Every
that.
great comedy club.
So even Rush.
should be.
Stop.
So
The old
Kids
laugh
and
stop. Kids piano would play.
I heard that some bitch play while I was painting that showroom.
Because
I ran
there's-
right back upstairs.
there's so much energy there. So many people having the best times of their lives, worst times. So it's just visceral fucking. So I was with Chad Alexander at Rudd's one time. We were upstairs alone, and I heard footsteps behind the bar. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, to investigate, I was like, that makes sense. And it's probably it's like it's just a fucking it's caught in the wood or whatever the fuck it is. Wow. So stuff like that didn't really scare me. A lot of stuff is just like it's just like a repeating thing. But like any place with like so much energy transposed, whether it's good or bad, I think it just echoes throughout the place.
Me and my brother rented a house over in A-Leaf, like off Highway 6 one time. We rented this house together, and we flipped a coin. We moved in about who's going to get the master bedroom. And I won it. I got the master bedroom. Cool. We kept smelling wet dog in the house, right? And I swear to God, every once in a while at night, boy, it sounded like you hear a dog just, whatever. And we kept smelling wet dog. We just figured the previous owners, had a dog, and it was in the carpet and shit. And so my brother's like, I'm going to bring it up to the realtor agency or whatever, no big deal. And I've been no bad feelings really or anything like that, but I had been in that room for a while, and we'd been there about a month or two, and one of our friends visited that had a little girl that was about 3 years old. And the little girl would not come in the master bedroom. And she like weirded out about it and everything. And her mom kept asking her, what is it? She kept going, there's a little girl. There's a little girl. And she kept saying that, and she was really upset about it. So we just didn't ask her to go in there anymore, whatever. And whatever, no big deal. We just kind of blew it off, It's like, whatever, this kid don't want to go in there for whatever reason.
Right.
When Joey talked to the realtor, it turns out the people that own the house, their 2-year-old granddaughter drowned in the bathtub, and the dog was trying to get her out of the fucking bathtub while the mama was on the phone and shit.
Why are you doing this to me?
Oh, I moved out of the master. So it was so funny. For like the rest of the lease, we just kept the master bedroom door locked. And I lived in one of the little side rooms, and we shared a bathroom for the rest of that damn lease. I left my furniture in there, everything. I didn't go back in
Wait,
that
you're
damn
dead
room.
serious? You abandoned a master
abandoned
bedroom
the
for
I
a
told
ghost
Joey,
child?
I was like, hey, you remember how we flipped and I won the master? You can have the master back. He goes, ha ha, fuck you. And so me and him just lived like peasants in the two small kids' rooms. Of
No,
this
that's.
house.
That's too. I could not. I've never experienced anything that would make me leave a place based on.
Well, you would have had a good room. It was
I
a big
wanna
master
say-
bedroom with a beautiful
Own bath.
bathroom.
Bro,
The bathroom had been remodeled. I guess that's what you do when your 2-year-old drowns in it.
I've seen.
You know?
Turns out just a walk-in shower now.
Yeah. Yes, there actually it was. This is never going to happen again. No, I'm sorry. Lord Jesus, I
Used to have a
apologize.
pool.
It's an above ground now.
But
but,
you still smell that wet dog, and boy, there's a lot of. We were drinking pretty heavy.
That is-
and I remember just sitting there playing poker with my brother and a couple of our friends, and just being hammered. And I would just so drunk that I would just reach down to pet the dog because I felt like I could.
Okay, fuck.
I felt like I could hear it. You know what I mean?
This is
you
where
know when you're in that state of like you hear. You smell a dog, you're like, oh, let me pet that dog.
No.
And my brother's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I can pet the ghost doggy, you know?
no. What's because so how does that energy get? So the girl died, but she trapped the dog energy and
No, I
took
don't
it
think
with
the
her.
dog even died. I just think
That's
the
what
dog's
I'm-
energy of that moment.
But
Yeah.
It's
was there-
traumatic, big traumatic spiritual
Was
moment.
there an
you know?
airlock when the girl was dead and the dog was still alive, that there wasn't dog panting in the house, and then they got reunited after the dog died?
Oh,
Or-
maybe,
see what
yeah.
I'm saying? Because like
I didn't
it's-
ask
the dog
the
could
right
feel like
question.
he didn't have unfinished business or something like that. It's maybe the dog felt like it was a protector of the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
Maybe
the
is
dog
this dog
died
for
in
the
the veterinarian's office, and then
Yeah.
fucking his spirit was like, well, we got to go back to that house, save that kid.
So-
damn it, where's the bathtub?
that's
I
my
won't go bother this fat drunk guy.
the physics of the afterlife. It's too much for me.
That's I'm a big fan of like the whole like infinite number of reality shit, and it's even like So like, I remember one time I was probably pretty high, and I was looking up at WikiLeaks, and they talked about how like the CIA invested like interdimensional gateways.
Oh, yeah.
and demonic possession and all that shit.
They
and how
did.
much money they put into it, and then I got into Operation Stargate, which they made.
Hitler also spent a lot of money on it.
Yep.
Hey, that's where we started getting interested from. We got Operation Paperclip. Like, oh, wow, you guys know a lot about spooky shit. Oh, wow. Oh, why are you guys making all these houses in South America? But basically, what they did was they found out like Operation Stargate, like they did remote viewing and all that stuff. And that's the men who stare at goats. And I said everybody has that capability to remote view. And remote viewing is basically I sit you in a dark location. I describe to you a target, and you basically do clairvoyance, and you can like write out like sketch out basically a target or some shit like that.
And we can all do that.
It's a trainable skill. Now
That
you're
is
different.
gotta be utter bullshit. How is
Well,
that?
think about it like this. Some people are. I look at it again like a crowd work. Like some people are a lot better at reading people than
right.
others.
But I can prove to you someone is funny at crowd work
You're right. And that's the thing. It's
because I've seen people do crowd work.
But
lot-
if you describe a target and a dude sitting in a trailer house in Las Cruces, New Mexico, in the dark draws it,
Well, yes, and I am
That's
just
provable.
yet to see.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see.
like Jerry. We can't
that-
drone strike that one. He's got rights. He's in New Mexico.
But is there evidence like that? Is my question.
Well, there was a lot of black highlighter on that document.
Right.
It's all redacted.
Right.
So I don't know. I know that the United States government spends millions of dollars on it. It seems interesting.
Yeah, but
You
they
know?
spend millions of dollars on all kind of dumb shit
Sure they
that
do.
doesn't turn into anything.
Sure. Who knows?
So-
that's what people said about HARP,
yeah.
Wait, what?
Let's.
the weather control station.
Yeah. What Bill Gates now owns?
So hang on, walk me
You've
through.
seen the documents, haven't you?
Walk me through HARP, Alex Jones.
HARP was weather controlled device. I don't know that much about
Were
it.
they
They did-
cloud
but
seeding?
They were doing
Yeah.
clouds. They were doing all kind of shit, and then Katrina.
You'd also do targeted.
And then one of
targeted
the
lightning
worst string of
strikes.
hurricanes the United States has had, and drought and economic disaster from weather.
But is that directly correlated to HARP, or is that just
No,
some people were
it's just.
shooting shit into the air and also
Hey,
global
they
warming?
finally got this program off the ground. Well, everything is gone to hell.
Yeah, it's ionizing.
So do
the
you know?
atmosphere.
Do you know like the Geneva Convention Geneva Conventions are one of those other things where they did the rules of war?
Geneva Convention.
Yes, it's written in there. No weather control.
Yeah,
Like, I guess probably
people
one
have
of
been
those
trying to do it
Way
a
back
long
then.
time.
Okay, but that was
They were
also
trying
like
to weaponize the weather.
Tesla
When
had
was-
some real good ideas about it.
Yes, these are all antiquated, crazy people who didn't have enough science background. Tesla
Well,
did.
they
You have
knew it was
electricity
possible.
because
I don't
of
know.
Tesla.
No, I understand that, but you were still dealing with you didn't understand the things we understand now in terms of thinking you could just control weather.
It's one of the things where they tried to push it, and they're like, "Oh, he pushed this too far. It could be some catastrophe." Like when they first wanted to detonate the nuclear bomb, they were like, "Oh, this could light the atmosphere on fire." And they're like, "Oh, well, we got to end this fucking war." So same kind of deal there. Where we keep pushing it, Let's push it to its very edge, and either if it's going to change the complete paradigm of what people think and how they look at us, or we're going to completely make the entire planet unstable.
right.
The problem is nobody's controlled it, but they've sure manipulated
Yeah,
it.
if you're able to ionize a certain that they found like shit like that, like small nuclear weapons and shit like that. Same
Right.
kind of deal. You start fucking with the environment. You can create lightning strikes. China does a pretty good job of it because they've had a lot of droughts and they try to like cloud seeding. They're pretty far
Right.
ahead in that area. But I don't know. Even if you did know, what's to say? The thing is, too, if you did find this out and you found this cool thing, all these top guys with top secret clearance, they're not going to fucking come out and speak about it. You know?
right.
They're all
And
going to
now
have heart attacks.
I have one thing to say about that. I was in Pecan Grove doing an install one time, and we're sitting on this guy's driveway, and this guy comes out of his house. He's wearing his boxers, white T-shirt, stain on it. And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, we're doing an install today." He's like, "Oh, you going to school or anything?" Like, "I'm going to computer science." And so he's got a doctorate in computer science, and he worked at Los Alamos in New Mexico. He's talking about in the 70s, they figured out how to transport an organic being, a pig, from one location to another. The only problem was they just couldn't get both parts to transport at the same time. And I was like, what the fuck?
Both
And then
parts, like the blood and the skeleton? Or?
mostly like the ass and the front half.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And then he disappeared before I asked him any more questions. Like, that's probably good.
that and I, as much as I like to believe the stained T-shirt boxer guy who walks out of the forest, I
Remarkable redneck stories, though, are a thing to behold because I did residential work for years, and there's just always that one dude comes out. He's like, my cousin had a Mercury Zephyr, and he drove it for 3 weeks and never had to put no gas in it. Took it back to the Ford house, and it turns out it was an experimental car, and they fixed it, and then it wasn't worth a shit after that. And my uncle invented a lawnmower what runs on water, and then he
disappeared.
fell off his bathtub and broke his neck, and nobody can find his lawnmower. You know, we look for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's in that big warehouse from Indiana Jones over there.
There was a
It's in Howard Hughes.
Cold fusion.
Yeah.
there's a guy. He's a farmer. It's either Nebraska or Oklahoma, whatever. But his whole farm is rigged with these big fucking tubes, and they shoot like big bursts of compressed air in the sky during a storm, because he's convinced that it repels tornadoes. And like other people have gotten hit with them, but he's never gotten hit. And like it was one of those like not.
The only way we're going to prove him wrong is if a F5 wipes his tubes out.
It would happen.
Yes, yes.
But unless that happens, he's going to walk around smug. Yeah. He's going to drive his F-350 with a little more confidence.
Yes.
I'm headed to the house. I'm going to fire up the air tubes.
Take
Good
it-
luck, fuckers. Good luck. My potato's going to be fine.
Taking information and thinking you know something because you have that information in your head is just, it's dangerous.
That is all of life.
I know it is, but it's the, so
That's QAnon, bro.
That's you and me sitting in the airport with the lady talking about mock bombs.
It goes even past. I was because I was Googling some stuff for a joke, and then I ended, the rabbit holes you end up, and I made a comment about lemmings, and that's how I got there. And then I remembered the myth. It's a myth about lemmings committing mass suicide, and then I wanted to find out where it was from. And this is what I got to. There was no, lemmings do tend to migrate in mass, and sometimes they end up near the water and they can't really swim, but it's not this ritual suicide that was presented by Walt Disney in this. It was White Wilderness, I think, is the name of the film. And what they did, they presented this narrative. You could hear the guy, saying all the bullshit, and the lemmings get up to the edge, and then in glorious suicidal fashion, you see them in midair and plummeting into the water and falling off the cliff like they'd be wont to do if they were suicidal lemmings. But in fact, it was a producer with a push broom
Oh, God.
who just was shoving lemmings off a cliff for the film. Just
Imagine after that, he's like, man, we should just shoot a deer for the next one.
Wow.
it is full blown. I don't know if they brought a push broom, but they were actually chasing and
Forcing them
herding the lemmings off the cliff for the film. And it's not even the ocean. They shot it on a river with a bank and forced perspective, and then just shoved them all. And now everyone thinks lemmings run off cliffs in mass.
Which is so dumb. Like, every time I ever heard that, I was like, how would the species survive?
Well, the thing is that the way it was presented, I think, is that they procreate so frequently and hornily that there's too many of them for the ecosystem. So they, for the betterment of the species, decide that most of us should just leap off the cliff.
Yeah.
That's how it's.
Well, I
You
mean,
remember
granted,
when there
we
was
should
no-
have done that a long time ago, but I've never heard of any creature consciously coming to that decision.
Not bad advice, to be honest.
You remember when there was no Google? When
Yes.
you when you couldn't fact check these motherfuckers?
Yes. I do, because
that's when them rednecks with the wonder cars used to get me, because I would listen to that shit and then go over to another neighborhood, another house, and guy tell me the same story. Like, "Well, y'all got the same cousin. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's called collaboration. Right there. Oh, shit.
yeah,
It's like a
that's-
guy starting a rumor that Marilyn Manson was Paul Pfeiffer from the Wonder Years.
I was really proud of that, Josh Saviano.
Give me that bottle.
One of the first good rumors you could back in the mid '90s when lies were lies and
Well,
no one
now,
could
now
disprove
you saw a
it.
rumor. You
What?
see the whole bot farm.
Who's
So,
the one? Sylvester Stallone started he finally copped to it. He's what started the rumor about Richard Gere and the gerbils.
Gerbil?
Sylvester Stallone copped to it in an interview. He's the one that
He's
started
the
the
guy who
whole
started it.
rumor.
No, see, I call
He
bullshit.
got pissed off at Richard Gere about something. It was something petty and stupid, and he said he just started spreading that rumor that he had heard
See?
that Richard Gere was doing this.
I wonder if those are retconned stories, though. If you just go, man, it's been 30 years and no one's claimed the gerbil in the butthole bit.
He had a lot of details about who he originally shared it with and how it got leaked out so bad. And
It sounds like something he would do.
it does sound like something he would
Imagine
do.
on the set of Cobra. Hey, you know Richard?
But
He was even he was like, look, it was petty. It was petty.
I gotta be perfectly honest with you. That's Cindy Crawford, and she was not doing those things that Gerbil would do to him. It's
So you can't feel anymore.
So we were talking about horror movies earlier, like the whole before the internet thing. I don't understand how found footage horror movies is still a thing. Because like the Blair Witch Project pulled it off because you couldn't Google, did this really happen?
Well, Paranormal Activity, that was similar to me. I was like 18 when I saw Paranormal Activity. I was dumb, but I thought, what the fuck? I held hands with another guy I played football with. We were freaking the fuck out. My girlfriend was right there. I'm like, shut up, bitch. And we're just like,
in fairness, you had a Mary closet. Like
I had okay, fair. I was sensitive to these things, man. Terrified.
I was older than you, so when Paranormal Activity came out, I immediately went to Google because I thought the girl was hot.
Yeah,
and I was
she
like, who the fuck is she? And there's all her on red carpet stuff. I'm like, well, she's alive. Oh, and he's alive. And then, it doesn't work anymore. But like with the Blair Witch Project, they did that right. There were no credits. There was nothing.
You didn't know what it was about. All you knew was three strangers running through the woods, screaming and hollering, and terrified.
Well, here's the
That's
thing
all
about
you
that.
knew.
with snot in their nose.
Yeah.
The trivia about it is the reactions are pretty much real.
Yeah, 'cause they did
They put them in the forest. They didn't tell them what they were going to do to them. So they were really running around with the cameras, shooting the shit themselves. And when they went to bed at night, they come in and they make these fucking crazy things, and they hung them from the trees, and then like they were shaking the tent. Those motherfuckers, like, they signed on the dotted line, and they just did shit to them.
That's like old
who's
Hollywood
the asshole
shit.
made the clock, the orange clock movie?
Stanley
The-
Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick.
thing.
Yeah,
Kubrick.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, he made Shining, right?
did.
Yes, he
So
did.
the entire time he was making The Shining, he treated Shelley like garbage.
like verbally
and
beat the
verbally
shit out of
abused her, and had Jack Nicholson verbally
Yeah.
abuse her and everything. So you watch that, her reactions are very visceral, very real.
And he was super apologetic. Once they wrapped, he was like, "I needed you to be scared, and I needed the anxiety in the film," because he just
And
kept telling her
maybe
she
you
was
just
going to
like
fire
being
her.
mean to women because you're weird.
Well, sure. But it's the
Well, he was a very weird guy.
Yeah.
It's the idea like that's that old Hollywood kind of like, why make you act when I can make you just feel this way? We'll film it.
Right.
Kind of like The Exorcist, very similar.
Forced
Exorcist-
method.
Exactly. Exorcist did a lot of similar shit. Like they would shoot a fucking gun off every hour. Only person he would tell is Reagan, the
Unnerving
13-year-old.
people.
Just to keep you.
Well, you
under-
know,
the
in
fuck out.
Raging Bull, he really hit Sybil Shepherd.
Really?
Because De Niro's a notorious method actor, and he was just in the moment or whatever, in that part where he slaps his fucking wife, he fucking hauled off and popped her. And then they were like, cut, and she goes, it was perfect.
You know, Dolph Lundgren punched Sylvester Stallone so hard he broke 3 of his ribs
Yeah.
and he had a mini heart attack
That's pretty badass.
during Rocky
Holy
IV.
shit.
That's why Rocky 5 sucked. He couldn't fucking get it together.
If he does, he
I
does.
was hurting. If he dies, he
There's
dies.
is there not? I could be wrong because I didn't look this up because we didn't talk about this. But there's a haunted house, right, where the guy, the deal is some crazy amount of money if you can make it through, but everything is allowed, like full blown.
It's
Yes.
like extreme haunts where you have to sign
Yes.
a fucking NDA and the
Yes.
guy does CIA torture on you and some
And there's
shit
like
that.
9 different levels, and you've got to make it all the way through.
But
And-
he's like
50
literally
grand.
allowed to like shove hooks in your body or some shit.
Yeah.
well, they tase you at some point.
The movie's called Haunt, I think it is, and it's about extreme hauntings.
Well, yeah.
Extreme haunted houses, rather.
Well, the movie, because I watched it because I thought it was a horror movie, and it's a documentary
Documentary,
about the guy making the fucking thing. And every year he changes it up, and you've got to sign the fucking waiver. And a lot of people do not fucking make it.
But it's the they can physically beat you up and you can't do anything in return,
They
right?
waterboard you. They do all kinds of shit like that.
Right, so that's not really
That's not really a haunted house.
that's
just
an endurance
CIA.
challenge.
That's like torture porn. or
That's
something.
just
like,
do
Yeah.
you want to be LAPD?
Navy SEAL training.
Yeah.
frog school, bro.
We're going to suspend you by your testicles for 35 minutes.
rank, serial number.
The crazy thing is, people sign up in droves for the fucking thing.
That's my
Well,
question:
that's
is
'cause people
why?
are dumb.
What's
Yeah,
the
that's why.
Lemmings.
People are looking for experience. They're
What's
experience
the-
starved.
right? But what do you get? What experience are you getting there?
It's the bragging rights of it. It's the I made it through when I got this lousy T-shirt. It's the bro going up Everest now is dumb. You know what I mean? It's
Tourist
when
attraction.
when a couple of
You're
people
climbing over frozen bodies.
when,
You're not
only,
seeing
when
anything
only
nobody
10
else
men
is
when only
seeing.
10 men have done it in their entire lives, it's like, yo, I'm gonna be number 11. But now there's a fucking line of people,
Oh,
and
dude.
you know
Every
and
day.
you know they're dying constantly because of
Yeah.
Instagram. They're staying up there too long,
Yeah.
and it's holding up the line. And once you get over there, your brain starts to fucking hemorrhage. You can only be up there for so long. So people are fucking staying up there trying to get Instagram shots. Their phone's frozen. Their hands getting frostbite. These other people are sitting there waiting. And they're like, I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm dying. Move the line. Move the line.
Trash.
Yes.
Like, it's almost impossible to get a good picture anymore because there's so much trash on the ground.
I'm sure.
And no one's going up there as a janitor.
And frozen bodies and parkas and...
But if your goal is to say you stood on the highest point in the world, it's,
Can a helicopter not get there?
No.
I don't understand.
No.
Can't fly in that atmosphere.
That's why the dead bodies are still there. They're not coming out to pick them up.
Need something that does it yet.
You'd think there'd be
I'll just wait on technology.
They flew a helicopter on Mars. You'd think Everest would be, but again, I don't know.
There's no gravity.
There's gravity on Mars. How you think the rover sits on the ground?
Then they have those little thruster things that pushes it down.
Well, it has a
It has
different
some
gravity.
Yeah, but it's got a higher gravity than the moon, I think.
I mean, that's why.
It's got a lesser gravity than fucking Everest.
But gravity isn't what keeps the thing from flying.
Can't
It's
you
air.
just like fly in a jet over Everest and just be like,
No,
fuck
but you
I'm
need
higher
because
than
you have to. Maybe a jet you could.
Is Everest higher than
No,
commercial
you
airlines?
could fly
No.
over. You could.
Everest
fly,
is 29, right?
yeah, and commercial
There's
flies at
ducks
35.
that fly far higher than that.
No.
Yes,
No.
there are. We've talked about it.
Ducks that
There's
fly.
a swan that flies at 33,000 feet. We covered all this. It's called a whooping swan.
A whooping crane.
A whooping swan.
The guy from Los
It's a
Alamos
swan.
mentioned that guy too. The swan.
33,000 feet.
Wait, it flies at 33,000. I can't even.
Mallard ducks fly at 18,000.
God damn it, Jerry! How is this in there?
Because he was looking at their
did a show
dicks.
about this.
He was
We
looking at
talked
the
about
penises and how high.
The screwdriver dick is for thrust, and then when it comes out, it's for
See,
drag.
he knows they got a helical dick. He knows.
He gets me every time with helical. It's the medicinally proper term for curved peni.
Corkscrew.
Corkscrew.
Curved Peni. It's also a cover band this Saturday at Wildcatter Saloon.
Curved peni. Jerry, we got stories that we should get to before this episode
Shit,
ends.
yeah. Dude, I read that story. Did you see it? Did I send it to you? The one about the Arizona?
Is that the one I'm about to pull up right now?
I intentionally did not read it. I saw the headline and I was like, I'm just going to let this
I have
happen.
officially passed a point in my life.
This happened in Waddell, Arizona.
The readers.
Jerry Wayne's going to tell us about the story.
Yeah, man. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. So these people in Arizona got this RV and boat storage, right? And they're making good money because RV and boat storage is good business in Arizona for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Why
There's
boat
not a lot
storage
of
in
lakes,
Arizona?
right? Yeah, it's called hole-in-one RV and boat storage, right? They're making a killing off their RV and boat storage, but there's rumors that they're stealing electricity from a state park nearby.
Now, this is a mother-son duo. I think that's...
Yeah, mother-son duo. The mother's like 50 years old. Her name's Laura Swink.
Mm-hmm.
The son, the name is Stephen Swink the second, which...
That means there's a...
That's a junior.
That is.
You can't be...
A second.
That's fucking... That's just churching it up.
That really,
I'm
wait, the
Stephen Swink
second-
the second. No, you Stephen Swink Jr., motherfucker.
Right.
You are not Stephen Swink the second.
Other? Come on.
That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my
That's
life.
for women like Elizabeth II.
That's trying to like church it up. That's
Yeah,
all it
you
is.
literally have
That's
to
him
be
trying to get laid at the best club in Arizona.
royalty.
My name's SS2.
Stephen Swink the second.
SS2.
I'm gonna go back. Jerry Wayne Longmire the second. But they
Suspected of stealing power.
suspected of stealing electricity, right? And so they go in, they do an investigation. They find out underneath the RV park, they have a underground bunker they've dug.
Shut your
And
mouth.
like this is like a serious project. It's like 3 container units stacked
they
on
went
top of
3 stories
it's 3
underground?
It's 3 floors tall. It's got a screw jack elevator and tunnel ladders.
Oh, Jerry, can I read what's in, can I read this? Can I read this? Can I read this?
Please.
The bunker had a shipping container boxes stacked together to create a 3-level building with a scissor jack elevator and tunnel ladders inside. Deputies found, here we go, 36 guns, a pound of methamphetamine, an ounce of cocaine, a half ounce of psychedelic mushrooms, and 200 pill capsules, along with $240 in cash and $700,000 worth of gold and silver. That's a lot. Can we talk about the fact that you only had 4 doses of mushrooms?
Yeah, I was like, how you going to have a pound of meth
Well, they started out with 2 pounds, but they used 1 pound building that something. That's a lot of digging, bro, for a mom and her kid.
Here's an upper family, brother. Come on.
Here's the thing. Here's how I know this was a meth fantasy going wrong.
Here we go.
You got $700,000 worth of gold, and you're stealing electricity from the state park to power your bunker.
It's called being thrifty. It's called being
That was-
thrifty,
You wouldn't
man.
pay the light bill. You won't pay the light bill. You got $700,000 worth of gold, and you ain't paying the light
You're
bill.
damn-
That's not what got me. What got me is you have a pound of meth and only $240 cash.
It's $240,000.
It's wrapped up in assets, bro.
That was the change.
They got-
You know what
They
happened?
probably just got that today.
You know what happened? One of them was on a methed out binge. They were reading out the electricity bill. It's like, how many megawatts they charging us for? Fuck you.
I mean, goddamn.
God damn it.
Baby, run an extension cord over the state park.
I mean, you got that.
Long orange
You got
extension cord.
that
I
much.
just pictured like 40 Walmart 100-foot extension cords stretched out from
No,
the
they're
state
doing it via
park.
Christmas light, Jerry.
I'll be honest with you. 36 guns for the Arizona bunker? Pussy.
Weak, right?
Pussy.
Right? Like, what
That's
are you
only
gonna
12
defend?
guns per floor.
You can't defend a pound of meth with 36 guns.
No.
But this is
You
Maricopa
can't
County.
defend the 4 doses of mushrooms.
Not
with
really.
36
You should just do the mushrooms and forget
I think
about
my
the.
dad's got that beat.
And where did the gold come from?
I mean, this is such a extraordinary, pack ratted, put together white trash bunker underneath the.
This is
But it's
into
a
the
ba-
world
But
shit.
like, are you saving up for another bunker?
That's the
What's
question.
the gold and the silver about?
that
and
mom
no
is-
food.
That's going to be the
No
currency.
food.
when-
no
when-
food to be spoken of.
When the dark times come, the gold was going to be the currency. That's
You know
what
what
that
this is?
was.
This is like if Sarah Connor had a completely different outlook on how to beat the Terminators. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what, boy? We're not going to sleep. We're going to train. We're going to just move this product.
Terminator 3, The Wait.
Way better than Rise of the
I think it'd be
Machines.
so funny if they'd found like a pallet of extension cords down there.
I mean, that has
Every
to-
once in a while they burn out. We gotta go run another one in the middle of the night. Watch out for bobcats. That's what the guns is for.
What a
and the
dumb
meth.
way to get busted.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
I was taking electricity from the state park.
like, you were killing it. You were killing it, right? As far as
Yeah.
underground bunkers go, you're
You
killing
almost got
it.
$1 million
You know what my
in
buddy
gold.
Bart's got in his bunker? Not a bunch of gold.
No.
More guns.
More guns.
More guns.
Probably at
Way
least,
less gold and silver.
at least 4 can openers.
But these people, as far as I've seen these underground bunkers get busted left and right over the years. They find them through radar or whatever, and it's never anything cool. These people are killing it on the like they should have had their own column
Now,
of guns
if
and
you-
ammo. They're killing it.
If you think about it, it's again like you were saying, the rise of the internet, the rise of technology. It's only been in the last 10 to 15 years that we have the ability to find these places in the first place. So it's fair to think that if you had an underground bunker and you were living in Maricopa County and you were on meth, that this would feel like the safest place to put your shit, right?
Yeah, but maybe hide the extension cord.
What the? Wrap
Kick
some leaves
sand
around it.
over it or something.
Well, we went to Michael's. We got some of that green tape you put around.
Jesus, maybe don't steal electricity from a federal entity.
That would
You know
be
what
the,
I mean? Like, steal electricity from the trailer park down the road. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those guys aren't going to know what's going on. They'll figure it out eventually.
Steal it from
and then
your
you work out a deal with some of that meth.
not even the meth. My other takeaway is like, these are the most honest cops on the planet. Because if I've got this bunker and you show up, I'd be like, I have $650,000 worth of gold,
yeah.
and you didn't see shit.
That's why they don't.
Oh,
send
if I was
cops.
a cop, it'd been like every other bunker bust. Well, we found some of that freeze-dried ice cream and a couple AK-47s, but they're pretty empty shit
That's
buckets.
why
That's
they
about
don't.
it.
They don't send those guys there alone.
And anybody know a good rental company?
It's a All right, we got another one here. Somebody sent this story in, and this is one of my favorites because I like a good domestic squabble. This was just an eviction in Massachusetts.
Not in the South?
No. Turned sour when a woman protesting the eviction showed up wearing. They tried to serve her papers. She arrived hauling boxes, multiple boxes, plural, if you will, full of bees, which she allegedly tried to release outside the house. She put on her. This is an amazing story. This didn't happen just suddenly. In the scuffle, here's Here's what they say. I've been doing this for 17 years. It's Boston. I've been doing this for 17 years, and we try to do a great job of sizing up different situations that we walk into each day. Miss Woods arrived with a vehicle and a trailer, and well, that's when things started to go haywire, if you will. In the scuffle, several boxes were knocked over. The woman put on a beekeeper outfit and then brought another box of bees to the front door and started to agitate them in an attempt to stop the eviction. Get them, bees! Get them!
That's just proof there are rednecks everywhere. It don't matter where you go. You got to understand, the rest of Massachusetts sounds more like me than Bill Burr.
Yeah,
There's just people from one place there.
Is it only the Boston people? So when you get out of Boston, do they sound
you go
different?
Out to Avon, it's fucking hillbillies.
Really?
Yeah.
Country.
It was farming. It was a farmland.
That's like a setup for Lethal Weapon 5 or some shit. Like,
Yeah,
I got bees everywhere, Riggs.
It's rural as shit, though.
I think Mark Wahlberg
They
said,
sting you in the drive-thru.
They always sting you in the drive-thru.
Mark Wahlberg said if he was there, nobody would have got stung, though, I bet. Right?
I just like that she got up and got in her car, and she's like, I figured out how I'm going to put the brakes on this shit today. You ain't getting over on Thelma.
Don't.
You know what I mean? Like she loaded them boxes up, coaxed them bees. You got to use smoke and talk to them and shit to get them in the box.
Talk to him.
You got to carry. You got to put the queen in one of the boxes, otherwise the rest of the bees won't come.
I
suspect
believe
she put the queen in her pocket because they do that sometimes to get the bees to follow them.
that is very true. Also,
And she just put that queen in her pocket, like, got this.
I'm gonna fucking get
Queen in the left pocket.
I like to believe that this isn't the first. I like to think this is her go-to.
Yeah.
That this is how her children have been disciplined, that this is how she handles.
No, they charge her too much at the grocery store.
Absolutely.
My coupon is good.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I'll be
right back. I'll be right back.
Got honey all over it, dripping. No. You're going to take this. It's like Candyman. It's like
That
Candyman.
coupon's expired by 1 day, Wanda.
The fuck it, I'll be. Don't make me get the bees. That's. Okay, my girl.
We get away with it. Well, we're sending your son home from school. No, you ain't.
No, I bet you're not.
I bet you're not. I'm coming to school board meeting.
Meanwhile, the son's going, please don't. Please don't.
Last time I got in trouble, she hit me with the bees.
Your son keeps showing up with all these marks, and you better not ask any fucking questions either.
Well, why don't you come out of the house for a home visit?
That seems like the most inconvenient weapon of all the things to constantly have to reload. Like, why don't you just do booby traps? Why not the big rolling ball if you're just gonna?
Unless you're real good at bees.
No, fuck that. If you're gonna do it, man, go be a falconer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would take
Send
that.
a fucking eagle in somebody's ass.
You're gonna take my.
I saw a video a while back where the cops went after a dude on a warrant, and he come out with nunchucks, and he was hell with them nunchucks.
Hey.
You got to go with what you know. That's what they say you do in a fight situation. Is you go with what you know.
But
you don't
see,
try
the
shit you ain't
nunchucks,
that
that's
skilled
assault
at.
with a deadly weapon, right?
What are bees?
Hang on, no. If I just
incidental contact.
If I just opened a thing of bees, I technically didn't touch you.
It depends
I
on
didn't
Macaulay
know nothing.
Culkin's there.
That's
I don't
nature.
know.
Well, she is.
The insurance company would call that an act of God.
God didn't bring the boxes.
I just let the bees free. That's all I did. I
I've
let the
decided
bees
to free
out.
my bees today.
Yes.
I was threatened.
She is facing a long list of charges, including 4 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. I'm guessing each box was its own weapon.
So no class.
Jury
B
will be on her side.
misdemeanor.
No Class B misdemeanor. There it is, Jerry. There it is. I was trying to get there. I went through. I almost said misdemeanor. I went through everything, and I couldn't get the class. Fuck you in your dumb face. No, fuck off. Fuck off. That's not. No, you can't have that. Even though you got it and you got it.
No, I gave it to you.
It's so maddening that it took till the end of this. And I read this first. This is fuck you. No, I'm writing it down.
I'm on the side of the bees.
You're a fuck.
Closet environmentalist
Be cool.
over here.
How come there's no cool? I wasn't even going to acknowledge it. No, absolutely
No,
not.
I'm giving them all to him.
It'll be
100%.
all right.
No. That's all right. I'm waiting for the day some school security guard finds a box of bees in some kid's locker. That's what I'm waiting on. Or the first time Al Qaeda tries to take down a
And look, it was just an eviction. They didn't send like their best cops. They probably sent the B team.
There it is. You knew that was coming. You knew. Literally. Why wouldn't they send SWAT? Okay, there's
Yes.
We got insect jokes, and
We're
they
all
all
in the hive
suck.
mind.
No, let's take. I was gonna say let's take the hive road. This is all. We're better than this. This is so. We're gonna really
They stopped listening 20 minutes ago.
Some more whiskey?
thrown out. I know we're gonna get thrown out of the plate on puns at the very end. Jerry, give us something to save us all.
Oh, pesticide.
That's
Let's.
There it is.
oh god.
Tuning in.
Studio.
We're gonna set the pesticide and
Thanks for tuning in at 10:44, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed this.
no. I will stay on here for 3 hours before I end this episode on that.
Fuck that.
will-
It's time to exterminate this bitch.
It's Pun B over here. That's pretty good, man.
Pun B.
Pun B, that's a double.
I'm just sitting here. I'm like a guy on the bench. Give me in, coach. I'll shoot a 3 real quick.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 1,044 episodes. I'm out of puns. It's fucking. I can't do it.
I think there should be a prize that we give somebody for the best pun, like maybe a yellow jacket.
Oh my god. That is such a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant way to do it.
Cut that one. Anyway, cut that one.
All right. T, thank you for not chiming in with any puns. Thank you. Thank you. I was swarmed with others. We will. I know. I'm stopping. I can't stop. We're broken. This is the problem with comics. The quicker
broken.
I say goodbye, the faster this is over. Patrick Eady, where are you available online? Please tell me that it has no B's in it.
Oh, absolutely not. It's Patrick Eady on Facebook. You can follow me at Coors Light Poppy 713. That's LITE because I am white trash. That's on the Instagram and the TikTok. On YouTube, it's Patrick Eady Comedy. Follow, enjoy my stuff. I post stuff there all the time. And guess what? If you're in Houston, you're in luck because I host 5 shows in this wonderful fucking swamp.
Damn.
I'm hosting Bad Idea with Kate Vance every second Friday at Secret Group. Every Friday, Saturday, I host the Midnight Late Dirty Show with Mr. Jamal Rahal.
Oh, nice.
And then we got 3 shows at the Riot at Rudyard's, Off the Dome with Jamal Rahal, which is a crowd work show, American AF, which is the most fun goddamn competition show this side of the Mississippi, and then this Sunday with Chad Alexander, it's our current event show called Viral, where it's like a live podcast. It's pretty sick.
I had to come out and jump on
Well, it'll
some
be
of your
like
shit.
a couple Sundays ago. But-
Yeah, either way.
It's all good.
I keep promoing, baby.
The week-
Hey,
shows-
did you see his chain?
Yes.
Oh, I did.
HVAC
now
Pep.
noticed it.
That's
coffee, baby.
Patrick Eady is one of the funniest comics in Houston right now. I encourage you to always check out our scene. Thank you for doing it, man. You're working
I
your
had a
ass
great
off.
time.
It's good to have you here. We'll bring you back because you got shit to say and it's funny. Sam Damaris at Sam Damaris.
Sam Damaris,
What do you have coming up?
At Honeycombs or else on Instagram.
Christ.
At Tyrannosaurus Black on Instagram. What I've got coming up? Well, I'm going to be overseas for a bit, but other than that, nothing.
We'll probably put together a Whiskey Brothers Christmas show, something we should start considering since it is now November. This would be a wonderful time to announce that. So somewhere in December, look for the Whiskey Brothers Christmas show somewhere in
Shit, I
Houston.
think I'm available.
I think you're probably going to be on it. We'll put all of our recent guests on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Patrick Eady, our guest on this one. We'll see you guys for December episodes. And thanks again, T. And to you, Chuck, for the bottle. See you guys soon.
I believe in good whiskey.